So, continuing the John story, I'm doing it in short pieces because last time it took like 2 hours to upload when I did it in like an hour. So this should be really easy because I'm going to do it like 5 minutes each. So, there'll be like a lot of videos, but they won't take so long to watch. Okay. So, Gregory was just quoting J.K. Rowling. He's like, yeah, baby! I laughed at that. How did you all get here, anyways? Plain, then Albert, of course, John answered matter-of-factly. I had forgotten that he was even there. His best friend and siblings were so much more entertaining, though. I suppose that's why you get what you get when you're a model. It's probably the most boring job ever. I blinked in confusion at John's mention of Albert. I thought that the old man was indifferent, if not disliking of the German model. Then I decided that my friends had known about John and Company's little vacation down here by the bay, and had called in Albert to pick the 5 of them up at the airport. Do you guys already have a place to stay, or did you just, for whatever reason, I shot a sour look at John for a brief moment, while his siblings chuckled, want to show up here first? You tell me, Mark teased, gesturing to the forgotten flower pot still in my hands. I flushed a light shade of pink and smiled in embarrassment. And this is what I get for trying for a few months to stay friends with the guy. Oh, ha, ha, I responded dryly, turning and setting the flowers down on a nearby table. Just let me change, and I'll throw you all into some hotel. Oh, no, it's fine, John tried to say, stuttering as his siblings raised curious eyebrows at their brother. I sighed exasperatedly. Boys, always trying to scheme. Just go downstairs for a minute, stupid, I told him, and shut the door in his face. After a moment, I locked it for good measure. I changed out of my pajamas and into a simple outfit consisting of dark bluish pants, a white buttoned shirt, a dark lime green blazer, and, of course, a pair of my severely beat-up Converse. Then again, all the ones I own are beat up anyways. Although I hated accessories, I curled a red and yellow striped scarf loosely around my neck and over my shoulders, mostly since I liked the pattern, and I figured, what the hell, it works perfectly fine with my outfit, and fuck what Haley thinks. It was wintertime anyways. I do not wear scarves. Scarves are for gay men. I don't do scarves. It's not that cold in Monterey anyways. And why am I wearing a blazer? I would wear like a hoodie or something. Okay, whatever. Until it gets right to story, I guess. I don't like it. I twisted the doorknob, unlocking it with a quick utterance of the passcode under my breath, and walked out of the room. I was glad, as well as slightly surprised, to find that the boys were gone, having actually listened to me, for once in my life. Dear God. I smiled and started to walk down the hall. I made it to the stairs without being ambushed by anyone, so I was thankful for that at the very least. I slid down the banister, too lazy to actually walk down the 3 flights of spiral staircase anyways. I landed on my feet nimbly and wandered into the living room to find one of the strangest sights. The kids, the gospel siblings, Albert and Gregory, all having a conversation in Stamford. Excusez-moi, I asked in confusion, and they all stopped to turn to look at me. C'est that sick sur gut, I heard Gregory mention quietly to the gospel siblings. Das ist eine Überraschung, Luke responded, his greenish blue eyes studying me curiously. There was a strange glint in his eyes. I knew for sure that I didn't like it. Sie macht in der Regel nicht, John told the others. Okay, this should be in the notes. Notes. Where are the notes? Notes. Oh, here they are. No, she does this very well. This is a surprise. She does not usually. Very true. Although I didn't quite know what they were talking about since they were speaking in German, I did know that it was probably about me because of their tone of voice, as well as the fact that Robin was covering what was probably a smirk behind her pale blue scarf. Of course. Alright, bitches, let's go, I told them, and waved them over before putting my hands on my hips and whirling around to walk to the front door. Beatty had jumped to his feet faster than all the others and caught up to me as quickly as I was heading down the driveway. All he talked about was you, he told me quietly, sourly. I smiled faintly at his disapproval of John. I know, Beatty raised an eyebrow at me quizzically. Well, what or who else is he going to talk about? I watched Albert jog around back to get the car, or perhaps the limo, because there were so many of us. I don't know, his dog, Beatty replied, throwing his hands up in the air. I laughed quietly. The one named after a madman who would have given the entire world free wireless energy from his laboratory that has a name that sounds like a prison overseer's mountain range. Then it was Beatty's turn to chuckle at my terrible retardedness in describing things. Tesla? Prison overseer's mountain edge? Wardenclyffe. How quaint. Then again, Edison wasn't quite so peachy either, I said randomly, the thought suddenly popping into my head. Married a teenager, he did, scared of x-rays because he was stupid and almost blinded himself. And Tesla was too busy creating artificial lightning storms in his radial department to have sex, I heard John add in, and I jumped, having what seemed like a mini heart attack for a brief moment, and he warned Edison that x-rays were probably really dangerous to work with. Beatty rolled his eyes, utterly unimpressed. I knew he was likely thinking something along the lines of, from that day onwards, they were determined to kill him. John, chapter 11, verse 53. That is a good quote. I like it. I smiled at the thought of it. Once I had calmed down from the surprise of John's sudden appearance at my side, I nodded. True. The sleek black limo swerved around the corner rather haphazardly with Albert at the wheel, bearing Britney Spears' Circus loudly out of the tinted windows. I smiled, shaking my head as I got into the back of the limo. Albert's feeling a little suspicious now, probably. When Beatty and the others didn't get into the limousine with the rest of us, I rolled down the window and raised an eyebrow at him quizzically. I think that I'd prefer if we, he gestured behind him to the rest of the kids, teenagers, stay here. Don't want to get in the way of you guys doing. Beatty smiled suggestively, teasingly. Other things. I laughed dryly and slapped him. Not terribly hard, I swear, because that would have been child abuse still. You know the rules, kid. No breaking anything. They're trying to blow the basement up again. No getting the neighbors to call the cops, etc. Otherwise, go ahead and do. I flicked his signature Joker necklace lightly and smiled teasingly at him. Other things. He laughed a little dryly and sauntered away with his friends, and I rolled up the window. I caught the barest glimpse of his Joker necklace glowing ever so slightly for a brief moment, and the only sign that it was recording their every word. I'd listen in later. I'm smart. I'm smart.